A StarCraft strategist has the ability to combine the innovative, perceptive, and holistic insights of a build order with the pragmatic and systemic skills of a pro to guide strategic direction in the StarCraft universe. Introducing the Strategist.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 8 of The Strategist. My name is OctanePro, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Buddha. Buddha, how's it going?
It's going good, Octane.
Excellent, excellent. Well, another week of StarCraft 2. Some really exciting games have actually been going on. What have you been watching?
Dude, I haven't been watching anything. All my computers have viruses right now. I'm running 3 virus scans right now on my computer. I'm not even kidding.
We all know what Buddha's looking at in his spare time, people. Come on now.
Oh, that horse porn.
Oh, no comment. Anyways, on another note, recently we've had IEM. I've had an opportunity to watch a few of the matches there. I've actually been following Empire Koss a little bit. I've actually been favoring some of his gameplay recently. What about you? Did you get a chance to watch any of that at all, or no?
I saw some of Koss during TSL, but no, for IEM, man, like I said, my computers have been down all week, and I just got back up today. It's incredible, actually.
Yeah, I was a little while ago. You had sent me a text. You're like, not sure if we're gonna make it tonight. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, we are here, episode 8 of The Strategist. If you joined us last week, you got to see that we went over the ASUS ROG Summer 2012 EGSuppy versus LiquidHero games 1 and 2, and really amazing series. And actually today we're actually going to be moving into it and covering a little bit more of 3, 4, and 5. If you guys did get a chance, make sure you go check those out after the show here. Games 1 and 2 are amazing, and we'll definitely be bringing you guys 3, 4, and 5. But on the note of news, if you guys want more extensive StarCraft 2 news, esports, highlights, maybe even some interviews with some pro players and some celebrities in the esports scene, make sure you guys do go ahead and check out the StarCast show, which is actually a weekly show that goes live right here on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. And that is at 8 o'clock on Thursday nights, where you actually get a chance to meet Garrett and Kyle, who go over news, tournaments, esports, and then weekly guests. And some of their weekly guests have been pretty profound. Several of the EG players, you've seen MLG, Sundance on there, Clutch has been on there, so make sure you guys go ahead and check them out. And yeah,
they're over 100 episodes now, man. That's a long time running.
Yeah,
like 2 years.
Yeah, and they were running before the game even launched, so it's definitely a really sweet show, and they actually offer it on iTunes too. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out, because you know, watch it at work. That's what I do a lot of the times. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into one of our newer segments, and that is the noob tip of the week with Buddha.
Yeah, guys. So today we're going to talk about hotkeys. Real quick, just the basic hotkeys, of course. You select units or buildings or whatever, and you press Control 1, puts them in Group 1. So you can press 1 to select them later, or double-click it to zoom to them. That should be fairly obvious for people that are looking for a strategy. So that's not really what we're going to cover here today. Just throwing it out there. What we are going to cover is adding units to groups using the Shift key. So when you press Control 1, you set the group with what you have selected. However, when you press Shift 1, you add those units to a group. So if you already have a giant pack of Marines and Marauders, you just want to add a couple more, but they're maybe off-screen, and you don't want to have to, you know, grab the first group and then grab the second group and bring them all together and then put them in a hotkey. You can take the smaller group that isn't hotkeyed and press Shift 1, and it adds them to that group so that you don't have to get them all together, like I just said. But it's a really, really cool tip, and it's my favorite when I'm playing Zerg, because you can make a round of, you know, Zerglings, and if you already have a big group of Zerglings, you don't have to reset your rally point. Instead, just Control-click one of the eggs. It selects all of the eggs, and you shift command them into the same group, and now you're running around with all your Zerglings. As soon as the new one pops, they're already joining your group. So one of my favorite things to teach people, actually. Really fun.
Yeah, and it'll definitely help you out a lot, and really separates, you know, your low-level and casual players from your high-level players. You know, just those little odd and ends help you out a ton, especially when you get into all those really crazy macro games where, you know, you're trying to do a lot of that. But excellent. Well, thank you, Buddha. And moving on to the second segment of the week, streamer of the week. This is actually someone that I had entered in. His name is Bonkers from Team Habitat. You can check him out at twitch.tv/bonkers. There's a Z at the end, 1, so BONKERZ1. Bonkers is a Terran player from the United States who streams daily with the support of his team, Team Habitat. Bonkers is a High Masters Terran on the North American account, and he's been working his way up there, actually, and very close to Grandmasters. And the reason that I selected his stream is because he's extremely viewer-friendly, with loads of commentary stories, great audience interaction. I mean, you can jump in there, say something, and within 10 seconds later, he's responding to you. So I'd recommend you go check him out, twitch.tv/bonkers, BONKERZ1. And if you guys have someone that you'd recommend, someone that you really, really like streaming, shoot an email to us and let us know, and we'll check them out. And this portion of the show is just to kind of get some of those people out there that aren't as well known kind of out to the public so that you guys do know about it. Well, without further ado, why don't we jump into Game 3 of EGSuppy versus LiquidHero. Once again, this is from ASUS ROG Summer 2012. Buddha, how you looking?
I'm already in and ready to go, man.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's go ahead and press play in 3, 2, and 1. And starting out on Imtune Valley, in the upper left-hand corner, we do have the blue Protoss player being represented by LiquidHero.
And at the bottom left, we do have EGSuppy playing for EG, and of course their name brand is Raid Call now. And I thought about it a little bit because we talked about this last week. What was RC? And it's Raid Call, which is their name sponsor or whatever. And Team Liquid had the same thing back when they were TLAF Liquid.
Huh. Okay.
For the little app factory.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even realize that or think about it, but it's kind of creative. It's a little different.
Yep.
Different.
And
Well,
playing Zerg, of course.
Of course.
You guys should know.
Of course. Well, if you guys remember from Game 1 and Game 2 of last week, we did see LiquidHero starting out with this early pylon, definitely showing us that he is going to go with a Nexus first or a Forge Fast expand there. So this is Game 3 of the series, and we see him sticking to his guns, and it looks like we'll see that again out of him.
Yeah, so, we've seen Hero basically go Nexus first in the Twilight Council every game, which is really interesting because the meta right now is to go Robo. So he's going to scout after that first pylon, see that it's not an early pool. We're actually going to see some really cute play from Hero here. Well, he's going to lose his probe because he's not paying enough attention. But
correct.
He's gonna send another one out in just a sec. And yeah, this is something you can do on this map that I really want to show people because you have to be able to look out for it as a Zerg player. But as a Protoss player, I can see a lot of people getting away with this kind of thing here.
Yeah, we do actually see right away a hat trick going down for EGSuppy, and this is very, very common for him. We actually saw this in the previous two series as well, the games. And on the other side of the map, we actually do see a Forge going down. So looks like we'll have a Forge before Nexus, which is a safe bet right now. But the spawning pool isn't even down, so he could have went with Nexus first.
Yeah, it's hatched first because of course he killed the probe, so the probe can't block. But this probe is going to come down and just make sure there aren't any pylons. And a few more drones get pulled here. But we're going to see Hero do this really cute pylon placement. This is actually out of vision of Suppy. And then he can put cannons behind the mineral line, but Suppy's on top of him, man. He's already looking for it and everything. So this actually isn't going to work. But imagine if you could get 3 cannons down that were completely covered by this pylon that already finished up top out of vision of your opponent. That's crazy.
Yeah, it would actually be pretty nuts. And the pylon is canceled right there. Just in time, keeps 6 different drones busy, which is down droning time right there. And in the meantime, we do see on the other end of the map, LiquidHero just kind of taking his good old time. He does get his Nexus up at his natural along with his gate there. No gases thus far. Just kind of doing the best he can to probe and build up his economy as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. So that was why he went Forge first and not Nexus first. He knew that he could get away with the Nexus first, but he wanted to try that little thing and make sure Suppy was paying enough attention, not getting distracted by anything. So, cool play by Hero, and he's going to add his cannon and gateway, and he's going to add 2 gases right after the gateway. It's totally standard play here.
Yeah, nothing actually too exciting about this matchup right here. PvZ, nothing too crazy at this point in the game, early in the game. We do see, a few lings coming out, but nothing too extravagant at either of the players. They're just kind of taking their time and building their economy at the lower part of the game right now.
So Suppy is going to make sure that there aren't any probes anywhere here out on the map in his bases to, cannon his third or anything. And he's going to find Hero's probe that was actually really well hidden. So good move again by Suppy. And I'm always really surprised by, for a player who was relatively unknown before, he's got all of his scouting down to a T, man. Like, he doesn't lose to this random stuff we sometimes see players lose to. He's always on top of it, and it's really nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, that probe giving the option, could have gone ahead and put down a pylon there. Warping could have occurred. You could have even saw a, any other types of buildings getting put down there at the third. So it's really great to actually get that scouting done super early and find that out. And Suppy's in a good position right now. I mean, his third's about 65% completed. He's just pumping out lings and doing very well when it comes to his harvester count right now. Currently 2 ahead of LiquidHero.
All right, so check this out. 6 minutes in, Hero's thinking about taking his third. He makes that pylon over at the third base here, and he's he's just gonna start to wall this off, I think, as soon as he can, so he can really start to defend it and break these rocks down as soon as possible. But as we see, we have 2 zealots and a stalker coming out, and +1 on the way. So Warp Gate's not even close to done at this point, but Hero's actually gonna pressure with 3 units because he knows speed is gonna be so delayed here.
Yeah, and it's actually, Warp Gate is about 50% complete at this point here. The third does get taken, and as Buddha had talked about there, he is beginning to wall off there to protect it a little bit. And, this is something we actually saw out of Game 1 and 2 from LiquidHero, was this early +1 to weapons. And it became very effective, actually, in Game 2 with the Zealots that he warped in. So it looks like he's going to do almost the same thing, just a little change up with that Stalker in Game 3 here.
Yeah, and these Zerglings are going to come in, but look, he's going to get a Queen. That's a Queen that could have been producing larva, but now it's 150 minerals down and, isn't injecting. Yeah. And the Stalker's going to be able to kite slow Zerglings for probably the rest of the game. So this probe is out here ready to make a third pylon, or a proxy pylon. 2 additional gates and a Nexus are already on the way for Hero here at his third base. He's got this completely walled off with a cannon already, and yeah, this is like the most safe defensible position you could ask for.
Yeah, and we do actually have Lings cruising around trying to find that additional probe, and they're so close at the bottom. Looks like we have the 4 o'clock position. They do actually scout out that probe. So as Buddha had said earlier, EGSuppy does an excellent job for being such an unknown player prior to being brought on to Team EG with his scouting.
Yeah, no, and that's something that definitely keeps him safe and means he doesn't lose to random stuff in games, like I said before. He's a solid all-around player, and it's really, really nice to see that safe standard play can get you really, really far in this game.
And we do actually see a Twilight Council getting finished up here for LiquidHero. And now we're interested to see, is he going to go with a Blink? Is he going to go with Charge? Is he going to possibly do a little DT play? We'll kind of have to see, but the big thing in this game, which we saw in previous games, is that he doesn't have any proxy pylons available, just because of how well EGSuppy has been scouting them out.
So, this is something Hero's been doing, right? He's been going Twilight every game. So he doesn't have a robo to go for observers to look around, and this really isn't a big muta map, but he wants to make sure. So he gets Hallucinate right after Warp Gate finishes and sends a Phoenix out right away. And that is, again, just a super, super, super cool move that, he's adjusting so that he doesn't need to have that robo. You can take that gas, put it into more sentries here. And then he's got minerals from his new third base to send Zealots out on this, massive, hey, you better have been making roaches or else you're going to, lose a hatchery here.
Yeah, great scouting there from the Phoenix. He was able to see the infestation pit. He was able to see the macro hatch there. So great scouting at that point with that Phoenix. He gave him lots of details. And it does look like we have Zealots streaming down the map as well.
Yeah, and they're going to come straight to this 4th base over here, and Suppy's not going to cancel it. He's going to send his Zerglings over, and they're not going to do all that well because Zealots are really good against Zerglings. But Infestors come over. They're going to burn some energy here. That's okay with Suppy. He doesn't need them anytime soon, really, unless there's a huge attack coming. But he's pretty sure there isn't. He knows there's a third base for Hero. So cleans these Zealots up slowly over time. More Zealots start coming in. And this is just really, really good, relentless pressure from Hero. I mean, he's stopping from droning, making Suppy make 26 Zerglings at this point. That's 13 less drones he could have on that 4th base, knowing that Hero can't be super aggressive on a fast third. So he's stopping him from getting to that higher tech that Suppy really wants to be very quickly.
Yeah, and LiquidHero at this point is on 1-1. As we saw in previous games, he does have most of the time have an upgrade advantage against his opponent just because of that Forge Fast expand. Something different we are seeing right now is we are seeing quite a few High Templar coming out onto the field, and as well as we do have a Warp Prism, so we may actually see a possible drop, and it looks like we are. And wow, 3 additional Hallucinates coming down, so 4 Warp Prisms. This is nuts.
Yeah, and if you guys watched the games from last week, we saw so much Warp Prism play. It's kind of a standard hero thing to do now. He's kind of figured out that, hey, these are actually really good. We just got to find ways to use them, guys. And what do you do as a Zerg player when you see 4 Warp Prisms coming at you?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because you're not sure which way to go. We're all over the place. We do have the High Templar, and there's storms going down on the natural, doing very well against some of those drones. Another storm going down, but the High Templar do get fungal, and I like this. Look at this warping on the high ground.
Yeah, and, you know, now these infestors are all up here, and Hero really should have split these zealots up. That was a little bit of a mistake on his part, but he got 23 worker kills already, and he gets to see that a Greater Spire started and a Hive is, well, obviously Hive completed, a Greater Spire started. But, yeah, no, he's got complete scouting information. Yeah, he's only at 100 supplies, but he's got a 4th on the way. He's keeping it defended here, you know, kind of, barely.
Yep.
He's going to live. And he's going up to his max tech, so he's actually has all the free supply he wants to make the most beautiful army he can possibly get.
Yeah, and he's doing a very nice job keeping up with his upgrades, currently on +2, and he's actually starting +3 right now. So upgrade-wise, he's doing a very nice job versus his opponent, Suppy. And on top of that, as you said, he's definitely getting up there in the tech tree, and he's keeping up with the Zerg player when it comes to the economy, which is the big difference here between a lot of other players. So it's actually a lot of fun to watch LiquidHero play just because of how unique his gameplay is and how creative he gets.
Yeah, he really doesn't sit back and let the Zerg do what he wants, and he does what he wants. And, well, I really hope I win this last fight, you guys. He goes at it, and he makes sure that the Zerg player is, you know, spending all of his money on units and really forcing a lot of things that we used to see a lot with the old Phoenix Colossus builds.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, Suppy doing a good job of reacting with it. You know, they're both at pretty even supplies here. It's 140 to 152. Suppy actually had 103 workers, realizing that Hero is macroing as hard as possible. A lot of lings get caught in the middle of the map.
Wow. Excellent force fields, though. Those force fields were really, really nice. A lot of energy spent there, though, because, I mean, that wasn't exactly a full commitment on either player's side, but very nice job by LiquidHero at trapping those units with that force field control.
He's pretty good at this game.
And look at that. We actually see a mothership getting started right now at the main.
So at the 16-minute mark, we're going to have Mothership Archon versus, sorry, Corruptor, Broodlord, Infestor.
Yeah.
So early in the game because both of these players are just focusing on macroing. They know they can't kill each other. They're making sure that the other person can't kill them. Right? They've got all the information they need to play safe, and this is really just a beautiful game at this point.
Yeah, it looks like EGSuppy will be the first one out to actually max out his army here. He's at 193 right now, and looks to seeing what he can do. Lots of lings actually engaging this Zealot Sentry army there, and force fields going down to try to keep them alive. It looks like they will just about get cleaned up, but the Stalkers do come in to try to assist, and it looks like that the lings will get cleaned up. But now we're even seeing a larger gap in our army count with a 141 for LiquidHero and 194 for EGSuppy.
Yeah, and, you know, the supply count is a big deal, but keep in mind, Hero's army is completely teched out, right? He's got +3, +1 right now. He's working on +2 armor. He's getting air weapons. He's getting a mothership. He's adding a robotics base. He's on 4 bases. Pretty secure here at this point. He's got storms all over the place to defend all his bases. Suppy's throwing away supply and links because he knows he needs a higher tech army.
Yeah.
Whereas Hero has the free supply to make that higher tier army right now.
Yeah, we are getting ling run guys at the 4th and the 5th, trying to take out whatever's available. He did get the scout and did get to see, okay, well, there isn't actually a 5th up in the top right corner. But as of right now, I mean, that mothership should be out. I'm trying to locate it now.
It's right at the 3rd right now.
There we go. Perfect. Yep. And the mothership making its way across the map. And we don't see a ton of units, as you had said earlier, for LiquidHero, but the tech level and also the upgrades is what's significant here to look at.
Yep, so again, right now, Hero moving down the right side of the map with a group of Zealots to harass the 5th. And on the left side, we see another Storm drop coming down with 2 Zealots. So really splitting the forces of Suppy. Suppy doesn't want to have Zerglings all over the place. He wants to keep them in a group if he can, but Hero's just not letting him at this point. Yeah. Quickly moving his drones really good, but I mean, there's not much, there's not a whole lot that Suppy can do to stop this completely efficiently.
Yeah, and it looks like Charge did finish up. We're doing those Zealots now at the 5th, kind of doing their damage there, taking out the Spine Crawler, working on some of those drones. One Broodlord there, trying to keep things in order. And, you know, EGSuppy will be able to hold it, but, you know, there were some units lost there. And we actually are going to see the remainder of Liquidated Hero's army now making its way on the right side of the map. Yeah,
but in the meantime, Hero did a huge Zealot warp in at the main and actually killed off a good number of Infestors, probably like 4 or 5 with just Zealot harass after that Storm drop. And now the worker count's at 78 to 81. And look at Hero's supply. It's 183 to 196. And we have 2 additional Stargates in production with +2/+1 on air.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Zerg army is quite scary right now with the Broodlord count at this point here. What are we at, actually, when it comes to our units here? How many Broodlords? We are currently sitting at 16 Broodlords. So that's quite impressive and quite a large number. And we're actually going to see that engagement just coming up here now at the 5th of EGSuppy.
So look, Hero's army is trapped, but do you know how much he cares about this army right now? This is not a lot of units. This is 6 Stalkers, 2 Archons, and there was 2 Zealots, and that was it.
Yeah.
And he's got, you know, his 5th base completely secure now. He's got some Storms there to deny any Zergling harass that might come. He's got Carriers about to get started, pretty sure. Well, I am sure because I've seen this before. But yeah, 3 Carriers get started. Again, he's getting +2/+1. He's got that Mothership out to, you know, help defend anything with a Vortex. He's got multiple Warp Prisms sitting at his 3rd, just waiting to be called out to Zealot harass it wherever he wants. He takes out the 3rd of Suppy. Everything is... Hero's just playing so well, man. This is so cool.
Yeah, the Warp Prism play is really incredible. It's almost like a medevac type of style, picking up, dropping, trying to stay ahead of your opponent. You know, the harassment is a ton of fun. He's doing a lot, actually, to try to get down this Greater Spire, and he won't be able to do it, wow, with only 127 health left, and that would have been really significant, especially because I was working on +3 for the Spire attack.
Any player that's not as good as Suppy would have lost that Greater Spire, and that would have been game-ending for our Zerg player. But Suppy managing to hold on to that is doing a really fantastic job of, you know, dealing with this harass, relatively speaking. So he is sitting on a 5th base, although he doesn't have a 3rd, so it's kind of hard to say. Whereas Hero's sitting on 5, about to take a 6th.
Yeah, we do have Zealots streaming down the right side of the map there. Ling's trying to cut them off. But the biggest thing right now is the army in the center of the map. 200 army right now. Corruptors and Broodlords. And, yeah, I mean, that's quite dangerous.
Yeah, no, that's a terrifying army. I mean, he's bringing his Infestors up now. He's got a ton of Overseers, which, I really love. You guys make more than one Overseer if you're fighting a Mothership. Don't let them snipe one and get away with it. So, again, Speed Warp Prism heading down the right-hand side right now. We've got... Well, we actually don't have any harass going down the left-hand side. I would say that's actually really weird for Hero to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a freaking crazy A game. And this is why I love this entire series. This entire series is like this.
Yeah, and the Infestors do actually catch the Warp Prism on the right side, regardless of the upgrade of the speed. And we actually do have the army now pressing forward onto the 4th of Hero.
Alright, so Hero, unfortunately, is a little bit short on units. He's got those Carriers in his main, and, you know, he's got 18 supply, you know, stacked in those Stargates, not yet completed. So that's going to hurt him a little bit, but he's got to defend this base over here, because this is, you know, the crux of all of his mining. If he loses this, then he's separated from his mining bases.
Yeah, and it does look like we do have a Vortex going down right there, and it does pull in a lot of the Corruptors, which is going to give the Carriers the opportunity to press in against the Broodlords there. And the Infestors now, wow, the Infested Terran right down the drain, actually, as well.
Yeah, and they all pop at the same time. And, you know, help deal with these Archons a little bit, at least soak some of the damage up. His Corruptors, of course, going to take the same amount of damage regardless. Second Vortex goes down. More Infested Terrans getting thrown in. Hero's supply is dropping pretty quickly, But, you know, he's not making carriers anymore. He's probably trying to micro his heart out right here because this is a very important part of the game. And look at this. Oh, my God. That was one of my favorite parts. I don't know if you just saw that, but a Warp Prism loaded with Archons got sent into the Warp Prism so you could drop Archons in there so that the Broodlings could not block his Archons from getting in. Yeah,
it looks like the mothership is about to go down. Currently 35 health left, trying to run away. And it looks like it will go down right there. And unfortunately, it does look like LiquidHero. He doesn't have much he can do at this point.
Yeah, man. So I think the really important things in that game, well, in the game at the end, for the reason Hero lost, was that Suppy just hit the perfect timing, right? He hit that transition going into carriers while Hero was trying to keep Suppy back on his heels in his bases, and yeah, it didn't work. If it had worked, this game would have looked completely different. Hero would have had three carriers, not 1 carriers. He would have been maxed on them. He would have had Storms. He would have had Archons. He would have had Mothership. But instead, just didn't have quite enough units. His last 3 carriers are stuck over here on the left side of the map and are going to go down. And Hero is going to GG out. So another really close game and really fantastic decision-making on both sides.
Yeah, EGSuppy is sitting on the Greater Spire Tech for much longer than his opponent, as you had said there. And I think that's what it really came down to. I mean, LiquidHero is doing a great job with the harassment there, with keeping up with everything. And unfortunately, you know, EGSuppy just came back to, you know, get over that harassment. He dealt with the Zealots very well. He recovered very well. So very nice job by EGSuppy. And that'll put us into game number 4.
Yep.
So let me get that loaded up here. In the meantime, I want to make sure you guys actually, you know, if you guys want to get in contact with us, make sure you guys go ahead and check us out. Right up on the screen now, you will be able to see that you can see our Twitter information, you can see our email, you can see our YouTube information. You know, get in contact with us. You know, we want to be in contact with you guys. We want to hear from you guys, good, bad, or the ugly. You know, let us know. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you check out our live show. And if you're checking out our live show, check out all of our other episodes on YouTube. We really would appreciate it. Also, follow us on Twitter. We let you guys know, give you guys a little heads up as to when we're going live and what exactly is going on. So definitely a good deal. Are you into game number 4, Buddha?
My computer's getting there.
Your computer's getting there. No problem. You know, might take a few extra seconds. You know, might as well pull up a couch, you know, grab a beer and hang out for a little while because we're waiting on Buddha. That is perfectly okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I do want to say, if you guys have questions or anything, please feel free to ask them in the chat. I'm always just looking over there because I don't have to keep looking at the screen. Octane's doing the observing, and I already know what's going to happen. So, yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask, and we might pause and take a break to answer it, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just answer it, or maybe we'll ignore you. I doubt we'll ignore you, though. I don't really have an end to the statement, so let's just jump into the game.
All right, sounds good. And we're going to go ahead and press play in 3, 2, and 1. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid. We have Hero.
And at the top right, we have the winner of the last game with Mass Broodlord Infestor Corruptor that all the Protoss players hate so much. It's EGSuppy spawning as the red Zerg player.
Alrighty, well, this map here, what are your thoughts, you know, seeing each player's kind of play style? You know, we did get to see, we now are into game 4. We did have an opportunity to kind of see, you know, LiquidHero doing a lot of this fast expand business along with quite a harassment. And then we also saw EGSuppy kind of, you know, droning up a lot in early game, getting his 3rd early. What are your thoughts on this map for both their styles?
Well, let me play Prophet here and go ahead and look at my notes and say, I think Hero's going to take a really fast turn in this game.
Man, always a cheater. Man,
oh,
jeez. But now,
yeah, but
go ahead.
That is something Hero does all the time, and it's something that I think a lot of Protoss players should be looking more into, because a lot of players have been like either 2-base all-inning or taking their 3rd too late when they think they're safe because they have a lot of units, but in fact they're safer earlier because the Zerg player can't kill them. And it's kind of a backwards mentality, but I think this is something that really needs to be looked into because Hero does it, and he makes it look safe, and it's incredible.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how that works out. I mean, an early 3rd for Protoss, as you said there, is a little bit risky, depending if it is scouted. But once it is up and established, it's very powerful versus a Zerg. I mean, I know as a Terran player myself, I love to go the route of kind of going with, if I can, in early third versus Zerg, and it gives you a huge advantage, but at the same time it is very risky. So we'll have to see, you know, what LiquidHero does, and right away we actually see a Nexus going down before the Forge.
Yeah, and something he didn't do this game that he was doing all the rest of the games is he didn't pylon scout. So playing, it's hard to say risky because Suppy never ever cheeses, but yeah, it can be a little bit risky, but he's gonna be okay because Suppy has in fact decided to go for that pool and then hatch.
Yeah. So nothing too outstanding right now for EGSuppy. Same at the other end of the board for LiquidHero. And actually, if you guys are interested, make sure you check out, I think it's a few episodes ago, we did do the Protoss Forge Fast Expand along with the various follow-ups that are available for this build. So we spent an entire hour and 10 or 20 minutes going over different builds, different variations of the Forge Fast Expand. Make sure you check that out on YouTube, youtube.com/thestrategist.tv.
Yeah, that was actually episode number 2, and the reason we're really jumping back into the Protoss game here is because Hero does not open with these Robo first builds. He always goes for that fast Twilight Council and very fast third base without that Robo, which is really weird, right? Because you normally need an Observer to make sure you're not going to die, but Hero does a really good job. So he's going to block that third with a Pylon for just a little bit. Going to avoid that Queen with his Probe, and standard PvZ. Not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, nothing too crazy at this point here. The one thing to notice right now is that LiquidHero is actually only on 1 gas, where in the previous matchups we've seen him actually take a 2nd gas right away after he's gotten his wall up and after he's got that Nexus up. So I'm eager to kind of see how he transitions on and why he only goes with 1 gas at this point.
Yeah, again, you're right. We normally see that 2nd gas right after Gateway, and he's only choosing to go for 1, and as we can see, a Chrono Boost is being dropped on that Gateway after the first Zealot comes out. So, you know, we'll see where he allocates this Chrono Boost. Hello, I already know.
And yeah, the big thing about that gas super early as well was because of the fact of the additional with the Forge getting the upgrade. You know, that's what we saw out of all the previous games for LiquidHero was, you know, going with that +1 weapons upgrade. And right now he actually hasn't jumped into that yet. In fact, he's actually just having Zealots stream across the field to kind of slow the Zerg player a little bit.
Yeah, he's got 2 Zealots, he's got 2 Stalkers queued up, and check this out. This is why he took that 2nd gas late, so he had that extra mineral income to get these Stalkers out early and still have spare minerals, because guess what we're going to see in like 1 minute? Another base!
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. Same thing with the last game, actually, taking that 3rd rather early. It's very risky. I mean, now granted, you know, our Zerg player is taking his 3rd, so there is a little bit more leeway in this game. And it looks like we do have the Stalker now trying to attack along with the 2 Zealots.
Yeah, and again, this is all really safe because he knows there's a 3rd base really early. And you can generally assume that it's a gasless build, right? So these Zealots getting surrounded, but these Stalkers and Zealots going to do a ton of damage to these Zerglings. He's already done what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He made Suppy make 10 less drones just from that. And look at this. The drone count right now is 35 to 39. Yeah, in Suppy's favor, but just barely. It's not like it's 60 in Suppy's favor like it normally is.
Yeah, definitely, especially on the 3 base there. And the Stalkers are going to go ahead and clean up these Lings. And yeah, now they're left with the Queen. And can they catch the Queen off guard? Oh, it looks like Lings do come out in order to help support that. And in the meantime, we actually do have the Nexus about 50% completed for LiquidHero.
Yeah, and he's adding additional gateways at his 3rd. And again, I just want to point out, Hero did all of this off of 1 gateway. No Twilight, no Robo, no Stargate, nothing. He took a 3rd base with 1 gateway and is now adding additional ones at his 3rd. So he is so all in on his 3rd. If this 3rd goes down, he has no production. His entire game plan is completely screwed, but he's completely fine. Speed's only 3/4 of the way done, and Hero's still out on the map harassing them with these Stalkers. Look how many Lings he has forced.
Yeah, I mean, pretty impressive. I mean, the harassment continues. Last game we saw a lot of Warp Prism harassment with the Zealots. This game now we're actually seeing these Stalkers worth their weight in gold, you know, keeping them busy, not only with producing additional Lings, which will take up, you know, some of the economy and the droning, but then also the Queens. The Queens are busy attacking these Stalkers compared to actually having the opportunity to do anything with the larva.
Yeah. So at the 3rd base here, we do have all these gateways finishing up. Hero's completed that 3rd, and has just now finished a Twilight Council, is finishing +1. He even delayed his +1 to get this base out quicker. This is ridiculousness. And now he's got, you know, 5 gateways completed. He can kind of defend with just gateway units here because he forced so many Zerglings that now Suppy either has to say, well, I need to make only units, and then I'm completely all in, or I need to make a bunch of drones still. So Suppy's like, well, I'm the safest player on the planet, so I'm going to take a 4th base.
Yeah, and we actually do see Roach Warren and also an Infestation Pit go down, so we are going to see kind of a combination there of the Infestors and Roaches for EGSuppy. And on the other side of the map, you know, we are seeing a lot of gateway-heavy units here. We're actually seeing a little bit different than previous games with a super, super early tech. But as Buddha did point out, we do have that Twilight Council, you know, even before the Robo, and giving him the ability for Blink.
And, you know, something else important to note, you did say he made that Roach Warren, and that was a safety Roach Warren, but he is going for that +1/+1 for Zerglings, and this is something we've seen Suppy do almost every game now. Just he makes that Roach Warren just to make sure he's not getting 7-gated or something like that,
yeah.
And then he goes into those Zergling upgrades and really wants to get that gas count up higher so that he can really tech to hive much faster. And, you know, Ling Infester, it works. It's hard, but it works.
Yeah, it does a really nice job, especially you can see the Speedlings, if you have enough of them, get the full surround and kind of lock those Protoss units in place. The Infestors just come along and throw down those Fungals, make it very, very easy for him. So we'll have to see how that works, actually, for EGSuppy, as we haven't seen him go into that army composition. But the one thing I want to point out is if you look at the fort, the amount of Spine Crawlers that are going down. Last game we saw this as well. EGSuppy, you know, he does lay down quite a few Spine Crawlers, which has allowed him to hold his positioning very well in the previous games, and it looks like he's found the perfect position for them in this game.
And again, look at this. We have an 11-minute and 30-second hive started, and a Spire going down at the same time. These players are just... they're playing the safe... They literally cannot kill each other. So they play the safest game possible. And this is what it leads to. It leads to super economic, super crazy good games where we get this super fast late game and people are able to take a ton of bases at a time.
Yeah, and it looks like that Spire is about 50% completed for Suppy. That's going to give him the ability to do possibly some Muta Harass or kind of push down towards farther into the game with the Greater Spire. Right now we do have both armies right around midfield. And it looks like we have these destructible rocks actually going down for EGSuppy, which will allow him to get a little bit better surround if they are caught on the rants.
Alright, so it looks like we have a ton of Spine Crawlers for Suppy, which is good. You gotta make Spine Crawlers when you're going Broodlord Infestor,
yep.
Especially with Zerglings because they don't have the same power that Roaches do. And LiquidHero is gonna walk towards us with Charge Lot Archon Stalker craziness and a Warp Prism, of course, it's Hero.
Yeah, and this is, what, 9 Spine Crawlers. Holy hell.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is something you're going to see a lot of times at a really high level. Spine Crawlers are really good, man. Look how long they're holding this army off without losing any Zerglings.
Yeah.
He's able to fungal this whole army in place. And, well, the problem is Hero made an Archon, so the Zerg player probably is just going to lose this fight.
I don't know what you're talking about. Come on, now. So we do see, you know, that Infestor Ling army pressing very strongly here. The Spine Crawlers have gone down, all but 2. So 7 Spine Crawlers lost there. But doing a great job with the Fungal on this Warp Prism and the reinforcements. And it looks like that EGSuppy, you know, is going to be able to, you know, pull away from this okay. Not really losing any drones, not losing a base. But I like what I see coming down the right side of the map with the Lings.
And Pathogen Glands coming down. Greater Spire is now started. A little bit late for Suppy. I think he was really trying to make sure he lived through that attack. Yeah, like you said, we've got that harassment behind the 4th base's mineral line. And Suppy's counterattacking right now, knowing that this isn't going to be an easy hold up at his 4th. So he really wants to try to get damage done to Hero's base and maybe free up some supply for Broodlords. So he does run his Zerglings in and then immediately goes, I'm not going to do damage. Runs out, heads to his 3rd, but there are about 100 Zealots getting fungal at a time.
Yeah, we kind of do have this kind of base challenge going on. You know, one hits one base, the other one hits the other base. You know, and it's like parts of the army, not the full amount of army. Trying to kind of take their opponent and slow down their economy, which really separates, you know, us low-level players versus, you know, higher-level players is the fact that they realize how significant the economy is and how they can turn the tides of the entire game by just killing off a base or two.
And look at this multitask from both players here. Hero coming in the right side with more Zealots while harassing the back of the fourth with Stalkers. And Suppy, man, he's holding all of it off at the same time. Yeah, he's having to run some places, but you can't hold on to all of this, and he realizes it. So he's doing a great job just staying alive at this point. He's still up 40 supply. The worker count is 79 to 70. Ridiculously fast, high worker counts here.
Yeah.
A War Prism goes up into the main. There's a War Prism down in front of the natural. Just harassment everywhere from Hero as he steers his fourth base to get his economy even further ahead.
Yeah, this is pretty insane. I mean, we haven't seen the Warp Prisms used as much, even after there was the health buff upgrade several patches ago. But now, I mean, I've never seen a player in a series use them as often as LiquidHero, and he's been very effective with them and doing a really great job at slowing the Zerg opponent, at putting on the pressure. So yeah, it's been quite impressive, and I want to see more of it. I want to see more of those Warp Prisms.
Yeah, and well, you mean from other people, right? Because
Yep.
from LiquidHero, you actually cannot get Warp Prisms.
Yeah.
But yeah, as we can see, Soccergrass at the fourth again, and he's got an observer here, and he was a little bit late, but he can just blink up onto the high ground. He's got more stuff warping in the main, including an Archon. This is look how low Hero's supply is, and then think, wait.
Yeah.
But Suppy actually just can't leave his base right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think, like, a Zerg player doesn't have the ability to fly around the map with their speedlings, because as soon as that happens, you have a Warp Prism coming in. And EGSuppy has no time to kind of work on his tech, to work on his upgrades, because he's so busy just dealing with these drops, with the harassment, with the amount of units that are going down. And in the meantime, as you said, LiquidHero is like, well, I'm going to take full advantage of this guy. He's expanding now, working on his fourth. He has a lot of high tech going on now. We see a lot of high Templars. We see the Archons, and now we're starting
a mothership.
A mothership, and then on top of that, you have, you know, I mean, his opponent EGSuppy on the other side is just having a really hard time dealing with all this harassment.
And I mean, again, this is the pinnacle of the highest level of gaming. Is when both players are spending all their money and cannot max out because there's so much of like a battle going on here. The mothership comes over to cloak cannons at the fourth to keep it safe. What? Harassment at Suppy's fifth and sixth at the same time. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then at the other side of the spectrum, on the left-hand side at the fourth, we actually do see two high Templar, which actually we're getting ready to throw down some storms before EGSuppy intercepted them. At the bottom right, we do have Zealots that have taken out the hatchery as well. So right there, within 30 seconds, we saw two hatcheries of EGSuppy go down. And so, as I was saying earlier, it's extremely significant. Like, the fact that LiquidHero knows that, okay, if I destroy just one or two bases here or there, or keep him busy, it allows Hero to get the edge on his opponent when it comes to that higher level tech.
And, I mean, okay, more Zealots at the top of the map fighting these Zerglings, more Zealots at the natural. I mean, these are all things that we're used to at this point, right? Like, nothing has changed. In 20 minutes, we've had constant harassment.
Yeah.
Suppy maybe mistyping there. Yeah. I don't think it was an unsmiley face. I think he was just playing really hard. And now he's got Broodlords out and stuff, but you know how frustrating it is when, like, a drop ends up in your base and you're just playing and you go, oh, no, I have to deal with it. He's been doing it all game. I would be so mad right now.
Yeah, and we see Storms going down again at the fourth now. There was like a 30-second break there for LiquidHero. And now he's back at it. You know, more harassment going down. Oh, man, that Warp Prism does get taken out. And, yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I don't even know what to think at this point.
We did see that Warp Prism go down, and I know LiquidHero is warping a lot of stuff in there, and I think most people know this, but just in case people don't know, if you lose a Warp Prism or a Pylon and you're warping in there, you actually get refunded all of the money and all of your gateways reset that were being used. Yeah. So you don't lose anything by warping in and losing that. So that was a good decision by Hero to just try to get those units in as fast as possible.
We do actually see a Ling run by going down to the bottom right-hand corner. This was previously EGSuppy's base. It looks like he wants it back, and he is going to go ahead and work on these cannons here. And it looks like he is going to get the cannons down, but a warp in coming in. The pylon not getting touched, and Zealot's going to be able to clean up those Lings very easily. Right now we're sitting on 3-1 for the Zealots against the Speedlings, which are on 3-2.
And again, there's Zealots in the natural. I don't know how Hero can do all this. I'm not even playing, and I can't find all of these drops going on at the same time. And now Hero's going to move up the natural with a huge set of Archons with Storms. He's got another Warp Prism with an Archon in it. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's not the best to fight at this choke on the ramp here, but which is now causing him to pull back. The Mothership, though, I'm really surprised the Mothership is just sitting back at the other Xel'Naga tower. Like, he's not using it. And I don't know if he's saving it for endgame, because he knows how significant it's going to be once he actually runs into an entire Broodlord Corrupt army, or what? What are your thoughts on that?
I can't speak for Hero, but I can tell you right now that he is making sure if his army gets fungled, all of it, he can recall out and not lose his army.
Yeah.
And just lose his shield on it. Yeah, so this is something that's kind of common at a really high level of play, just not using. You don't need the Vortex necessarily. As long as you can lower that Infestor count and recall out, then go back in, you'll be in a much better position, even without a Vortex.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the 4th right now of EGSuppy, you do see that his drones are getting destroyed. He has only 2 drones mining right there right now. And, I mean, this is killer. I mean, he's mining off of his 3rd, which is oversaturated, and then off his natural, which is oversaturated as well.
And keep in mind, guys, even though Suppy's taking all this harassment and is down in supply, he has the ultimate army composition right now, right? Again, he's got 17 Broodlords in this army. He's got a few Infestors left. Yeah, he's pretty mined out in most places. He's in a lot of trouble, that's for sure. But he's popping 5 more Infestors now, his 4th. Kind of alive, a little bit. And he's got 1 push left in him. And he's spreading his Broodlords out so he can't get crazy Vortex.
Yeah, we actually do see now a 6th going down for LiquidHero on the left side, 9 o'clock position. And we actually see a Warp Prism waiting idly on the right side of the map at the 3 o'clock. But it looks like the main focus right now of this game is the center of the map.
Yeah, at the top, drones are attacking these Stalkers to try to get rid of them at the 4th. But yes, like you said, in the middle of the map, we do have that Broodlord Infestor army coming down on what looks to be about 10 Archons. A huge Vortex goes down, grabs a few of the Broodlords and Infestors. And, I mean, do you charge into this? Do you really walk into the 17 Broodlords that are still there with your Archons to try to get into that Vortex? I don't think so. So, Hero decides not to also. This is
look at this Warp Prism. His Warp Prism directly behind the Zerg base. I feel like he's gonna plan up and like warp in units. He is. He's just trying to like drop in units to keep busy here. And yeah,
I actually didn't see that in the replay.
Yeah, that was quite impressive. This like drop behind the entire Broodlord army.
Yeah, with the High Templar for feedbacks and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Really awesome play. And it looks like we have all the Infestors getting cleaned up by a Warpin behind the army again.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Like, to think, okay, well, if I'm going to go head-to-head with the Zerg army, I'm just going to bring a Warp Prism and warp in from behind.
So, guys, if you want to win games as Protoss against Zerg, just be really good like Hero.
That was nuts. I saw the Warp Prism on the right side of the map, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna like do another drop while we got head-to-head army here. Nope, he decides to warp in like crazy. That is crazy effective. So that game went to LiquidHero, and I think we have another one to jump in here, don't we?
I do want to point out, both of those last games, 0 Colossus.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We actually haven't seen a lot of Colossus at all in this entire series up till now that I think of it.
Yeah, Colossus are... I mean, I think they're good for timings and stuff, but for that really late game, I really like that Archon High Templar composition against Zerg right now. And that's usually what Hero is favoring too, but I'm getting ready for Game 5. Hey, do you want to tell people about Tweaked?
Sure. Guys, want to let you know our newest sponsor, one of our biggest sponsors, is actually a company called tweakedaudio.com. Right up on your screen right now, you will be able to see an advertisement we kind of threw together because we want to inform you guys. It's pretty ridiculous. So here's how it works. Their top-of-the-line headphones, or earbuds, I'm sorry, are $30, right about, give or take. If you use the promo code BUILDORDER, which is our promo code, you get 30% off, which take them down to $15.95, and you get free shipping anywhere in the world. Now, to top that off, they're noise-canceling headphones. They plug in with any of your smartphones, your MP3 players. But the biggest selling point is the lifetime warranty. Where else are you going to find earbuds that are lifetime warranty? I mean, I have a set of SteelSeries. They're not lifetime warranty at all. So please go ahead and check them out. tweakedaudio.com. Use the promo code BuildOrder. Buddha and I are both using them. We really, really like them. And the biggest thing is that I like about them is the fact that, okay, the earbuds don't hurt my ears at all. And furthermore, they're non-tangle cords. They're nice and flat, have that flat kind of surface to them. So you can pull them out from it comes with a really nice cloth bag, and they're not tangled at all. So once again, check them out, tweakedaudio.com. And Buddha, you ready?
Dude, my computer loaded that one so fast. It only took like 7 minutes.
Oh, excellent. All right, let's go ahead and press play in 3, 2, and 1. And at the upper 12 o'clock position, we do have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. We have Hero.
Rah, rah, rah. And at the bottom, we do have EGSuppy from Raid Call. And this is the ASUS ROGs from summer 2012. It happened, what, like 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think about 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So really recent games. And these were all best of 5s. And this game is in Game 5. So this is the last game in particular from this series.
Yeah.
And again, it's going to be really long. Oh, Octane, sorry. I should have told you before the game or we started. But can you hide the timer thingy? Like press the little down arrow on the
Hey, Buddha,
replay bar?
hey, Buddha, just to let you know, I'm way ahead of you, brother. I'm way ahead of you. It's already done. It's taken care of. It's good to go. So anyways,
I saw you do it on the stream. What do you mean you're ahead of me?
I was ahead of you, I swear. Anyways, thank you very much to actually the one viewer that had mentioned it in the chat channel. I saw it last game. Definitely took care of it. We're actually having some of our graphics redone right now for in-game, so that will actually be coming to you guys in a few episodes with some sexy new graphics. That'll kind of bump up our quality a little bit more. We want it to look professional for you guys, so thank you very much for giving us those suggestions.
And while we're jumping into this game, because it's it's a PvZ, and Safi plays really safe, and Hero plays really crazy but safe at the beginning.
Yep.
I want to point out again, you guys, if you have something you want to see as the build or a series of games or anything like that, please feel free to contact us at thestrategisttv@gmail.com or tweet at us or anything like that. We try to get back to people like within the hour, seriously. Like all I do is check email all day because I'm a desperate, lonely person. So
yeah, I mean, if you guys have questions like, hey, I'm struggling with this build, where can I improve? What am I doing wrong? This is the build I do type of deal. Shoot it our way, and we'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible. Buddha is always available. So definitely please, we love to communicate with our viewers and our audience and our followers. So, And the last thing we're going to promote before we dive into this game, guys, is make sure you guys follow AMove TV. Just recently, over the past few weeks, we've actually moved over all 3 of the shows over to AMove TV. You have The Strategist, you have StarCast, and you have Twib. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow them, support them. I mean, we appreciate it. this is our new home. We're trying to get back all those followers that we lost just from transferring 3 shows into 1. So please make sure you guys do go ahead and follow AMove TV.
Indeed. All right, so pretty standard. I know everyone at the beginning of the game saw that probe or the drone die to the probe. That was sadness, I know. But Hero doing a double pylon block, and that's gonna really delay his gateway for a long time. But now Suppy is actually sitting on 600 minerals for a second there because he couldn't spend it because he needed a hatchery. So a really good harassment, I guess, at the beginning by Hero. It's gonna delay everything. He's only got 1 gas going up because he can't afford the second one yet. His probe's been a little bit delayed, as we can see. He's banking a lot of chrono boost. There's a lot of little things that get thrown off by putting these early pylons down. So as a Zerg player, when you see this, you should be like, oh crap. But at the same time, you should still be like, oh, this is okay. I'm not in the worst shape of my life.
Yeah. And we do see, as you said, the 3rd getting taken there. And on the opposite side of the map, we actually do see LiquidHero. He does have the single gas getting taken, not the second one just yet. So we'll have to see, are we going to see an early 3rd again out of LiquidHero? It's been very common in all of his games versus EGSuppy. It's kind of given him that edge to allow him to have the early tech and also the early upgrades. So that's one thing to spot, as a Zerg player playing against Protoss, if you see that early 3rd going down, you know your opponent's trying to play a longer macro game and trying to get up early tech and early upgrades.
And Suppy knows that, man. The first thing he does is send a Zergling over to that third base at the 6-minute mark just to make sure that that third base is not yet on its way. And as we can see, these Zealots are really delayed compared to the last game. We had 2 Zealots and a Stalker, and a second Stalker almost halfway done at this point. So, again, that pylon harassment really, really setting Hero back a tiny bit here, even if it is setting Suppy back. So keep that in mind. It's really important to realize that when your opponent does something really annoying, it's not... He's hurting himself, too, unless he's really bad and wasn't going to spend that money somewhere else anyways.
Yeah, we do actually see a probe just above the 4th right now, and I assume we'll see a proxy pylon here out of LiquidHero, kind of following that along here, kind of wondering what he's going to do, how he's going to use it. But, you know, EGSuppy does, you know, he did see it go up there with the Overlord, so he knows something's up, and as we saw in the previous games, EGSuppy did an amazing job at cleaning up any of these probes that were putting down any proxy pylons, and right here we see it again. So very nice job by EGSuppy, you know, making sure that he doesn't lose or be extremely damaged by any proxy play.
All right, so we did have the what's that thing he called? Second gas went down very late, and we have 4 gateways in production, which is going to bring us to a total of 5, and it's going to hit around 8 minutes and 30 seconds, depending on... ish.
One thing also to pay attention to here is we actually do see the +1 weapons going down again for LiquidHero. It is about 98% completed right now, and so that is going to finish up any second. So right away, just like in all the previous matches, he does have that +1 before he fully engages his opponent.
Yeah, and the Zerg can't really do anything against it because they're not mining gas, right? So very good decision. Decision? Yeah, we'll call it a decision. And in case people aren't aware, again, I know most people are, Zealots with +1 attack, 2-shot Zerglings instead of 3-shot them. So it's actually a 50% difference in the amount of damage you were doing if you're fighting against pure Zergling, which is really, really important to note as a timing.
And the Roach Warren did finish up just a minute ago, and we actually see 5 Roaches now coming out onto the map, along with 6 additional Lings and Speed finishing up. So this is going to go ahead and give EGSuppy a little bit more of an edge over his opponent here once all 3 of those do pop out and do complete. And we'll have to see if EGSuppy can hold on until those reinforcements arrive here.
Yeah, so this is a 3-gas, 5 warp gate timing that Hero is just trying to exploit to force his opponent to really react to this. And in the meantime, as you can see, he's been trying to take this third base over here. Suppy sees there's no third base, so he makes Roaches, which is a really good decision because you can't hold this with just Zerglings. So the Zerglings are going to come in, and he's going to wait for the rest of his units, which is really good. Tries to engage the Stalkers as best as possible with his Zerglings. And this is actually the best Zerg micro I've seen in a really long time. And he's eventually going to clean this up, but it's going to be kind of hard.
Yeah, and actually at the same time, just finishing up, which was really impressive so early in the game, is the Templar Archives did finish up at the natural, and that's going to open up now so many possibilities for him. I'm eager to see, you know, how he ends up using that.
And again, he really likes his charge lot Archon timing, or compositions, I guess is what we'll call them, as opposed to Colossus, like we were talking about earlier. So really cool. He is making a Robo right now, probably for Warp Prisms, and yeah, Roach Speed is finished. So Suppy's going to force this back, and you know that. It looks like Suppy held that pretty well, and he didn't lose very many workers at all. 4 total workers killed for our Protoss player, including that one at the very beginning. But the worker count right now is 60 to 42 in Hero's favor.
Wow, and that's insane. I mean, Hero's been doing so much micro down at the 3rd of Suppy. To be able to be that far ahead when it comes to the probes is nuts. And then on top of that, if you think of it, how much mining time has been lost for EGSuppy at his 3rd just because of what's been going on here?
And with 42 workers, fortunately for him, he actually didn't need that 3rd base to mine from because he wasn't going to saturate his first 2 to start. But that was just so much aggression, so much pressure. And now Suppy's up in supply, but he's got these, like, Roaches that are kind of not that good. I mean, Hero's now making Immortals because he knows that this is something that Suppy's going to have invested in a little bit, seeing that Roach Speed come out already.
So we do have +2 weapons, about 75% completed for LiquidHero. That is going to put him ahead once again with upgrades. Every game his upgrades have been ahead of EGSuppy, but the big thing to look at in the bottom left is that proxy pylon. LiquidHero finally did have the opportunity to go ahead and get that down. And yeah, I was able to set in a zealot here or there to kind of do a little bit more harassment. And that's all that's there for, is to keep his opponent busy, to clean up some of the economy. And I think we're going to see a pretty impressive game out of LiquidHero this game.
Yeah, and people in the chat are actually asking why he dropped that Templar Archives.
Sure.
And the reason that I think it is, and again, I'm not a hero, so I can't tell you, but I think that if he did enough damage, that he was just going to make that a 12-gate charge lot Archon timing.
Yeah, definitely.
And not throw that Robo down, because that Robo came down after the Templar Archives, and he's done nothing with it. So, seeing those roaches, he knows there aren't going to be really fast mutas out. So, that's the toss-up in my head that I'm going over. And as we can see, there are 10 mutas on the way. So Suppy trying to catch Hero off guard, but 10 mutas I just don't think is going to be enough. Although with Hero being all over the map and using those Warp Prisms all the time, it's going to be a really good...
it's going to be a really good... it's going to, I'd say, a reflection as to the Warp Prism play. The Warp Prism
play... Yes, he's going to deflect Warp Prisms very well. You are so smart.
But yeah, I mean, now finally, you know, we might actually see EGSuppy doing the harassment part, whereas previous games we've seen LiquidHero go ahead and have full control of that harassment with all of the Warp Prisms. So it looks like we're going to have the mutas now making their way up to the main, and they're going to push right in right now. But we do have Blink Stalkers ready to respond to it, and it looks like that these mutas are going to come out on top, but more units are warped in.
Yeah, and, you know, mutas are going to beat those Stalkers in that situation, but the mutas are 100 gas and the Stalkers are 50 gas. Yeah. That's not really the most efficient trade you want to be making right now when all of your gas is going into these mutas, right? Whereas Hero is on a third base also mining gas, so Hero's trading way more efficiently per game circumstances right now, even giving away some of those Stalkers for the mutas.
Taking a look at the income tab, we do actually see that the gap has been closed quite significantly now, and we actually will see EGSuppy up 74 to about 73, so it's very much neck and neck, but we no longer see that huge gap between the players. So we're starting to see EGSuppy's economy stabilize. You know, he's now on 4 base, so he does have that edge. You know, most of the commonly, the Zerg player will be up more bases than the opponent. It hasn't been that way with LiquidHero just because of the amount of harassment that he's done and damage he's done to his opponent. But now I think we're going to start to see EGSuppy stabilize a little bit more and be able to put a little bit more money into his tech and his upgrades.
And let's really talk about this game for a second, because we saw a 5-gate at Hero, which was his opening, right? It wasn't an all-in, it wasn't a 7-gate, it wasn't an 8-gate. He took that third base behind it, really applied a lot of pressure, and made Suppy make roaches, right? So then Hero was like, well, what could he do from here to really punish me? Yeah. Well, he could go Muta. So he gets Blink, and he gets the Templar Archives defensively. At least he had the Templar Archives in his game plan before that, but it's definitely going to help him here, right? So Suppy's like, oh, well, okay, that's not going to work. So he starts an Infestation Pit, and he starts Hive, and he starts Infestors. And we've just seen both players go back and forth, get so much information, make so many good assumptions that this game might seem like he was just going to go Mutas from the beginning of the game. And that's absolutely probably not the case.
And this is actually something I want to pay attention to with last game. Look at the Spine Crawlers on the high ground now for EGSuppy. He was able to use them so effectively last game. And it looks like he's going to do the same thing here again. And I like how he has them at both upper ground positions on the left and also at the right. And, you know, he's looking very, very stable right now. I mean, last game, we saw a ton of harassment come out of LiquidHero onto EGSuppy. You know, EGSuppy just couldn't keep up with it. You know, drops here, Warp Prisms here, High Templar here. In this game, it's a little less drop play, and it's a little bit more of actually a standard type of ZVP play.
Yeah, that drop play almost completely denied by those mutas, like you said. So the mutas are going to come up and kill the only Warp Prism that's been on the map the entire game very quickly. Loses a couple of mutas, but it's going to clean up all these Stalkers, and Storm from the low ground is OP, but...
So yeah, look at the supply count though. We see 192 to 168. Now, granted, a majority of that is these lings. We have 3 tabs worth of lings right now, and on the other side, we see some very, very expensive high-tech units. You have your Immortals, you have your High Templar, and a little different.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick that because this is something a lot of Zerg players do and they get stuck. is they go Muta, and then their army just fills up with a bunch of units, and they don't have any tech. So now we have a few Infestors out, but he's got a clear supply, so he can get Corruptors out, he can get Infestors out, and he can go to those Broodlords that are very, very supply intensive. And as we can see, he's running his Zerglings through. LiquidHero losing nothing to all of those. Really, really impressive defense considering how many places he got attacked at once. So now, Suppy's sitting on a couple of Roaches, a couple of Mutas, and is getting to that Broodlord Infestor comp he wants at the end of the game on 90 drones so we can remax on it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we actually do see a mothership that is almost down on the map right now. It is about 75% completed, but we are seeing more Warp Prisms. So we're going to see a very common endgame, you know, that we kind of saw before. We're going to see Broodlords, we're going to see Corruptors, but we're going to see those Warp Prism drops. And those Warp Prism drops is what won the game for LiquidHero several times, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, I love that Warp Prism play. I love that harassment. As a Terran player myself, I love to drop with the Medivacs in the same exact fashion.
Yeah, I mean, look at the production tab right now. Well, we have a big fight here, a good fungal going off before the blinking go down.
Yeah.
Storm taking out half the Zerglings life instantaneously. And, I mean, a Warp Prism just popped. 5th base on the way for Hero. 5th base completed for Suppy. Charge, Hallucination, Shields, Armor, Warp Prism Speed, Warp Prism, +3, +3, +2 air weapons for Zerg. These games have been so long.
Yeah, I think this is actually the longest series put together that I've had to cast. I mean, we actually decided to break it into 2 Strategist episodes just because of the fact that these games were like, we had to put aside a half hour for each game just because of the length that they were. But sorry to cut in, completely separate topic. We do see Zealots getting warped in, actually, to the 5th of EGSuppy.
Yeah, not going to be anywhere near enough, though. Those Infestors are in position, and Spinecrawler is going to kill Zealots pretty quickly there. So, good job on Suppy's part to defend that. Hero just kind of moving his army back and forth. Nobody can really attack each other, like we were talking about before. If you're in a defensive position with Force Fields, Immortals, Storm, Mothership, you're not going to die. If you're in a defensive position with Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor, Spinecrawler, and maybe some Roach, you're not going to die, right? So both these players are like, well, I guess I'll just start taking more bases.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to locate where that mothership is. Do you see that mothership?
I'm 100% sure it came out, I thought.
Yeah, I swore it came out too, but I don't see it anywhere. I'm going crazy.
It is on the map. There is a mothership on the... Oh, there it is. It's in the middle.
Seriously?
In front of the natural.
I'm just like, I'm looking at all the bases. I'm like, where is this mothership? I'm like, there's no way he lost it. And I swear if he canceled it, I'm going to have to laugh. But I was like, what is going on? Anyways, jumping back into the game here. Both players on several mining locations now. We do have an engagement going down the middle of the map. Nothing too crazy, just a little proc and a prod here and there. And yeah, I'm actually really impressed by EGSuppy's upgrades right now. I mean, 3 at a time is quite effective.
Yeah, one thing I do want to see out of Zerg players more often, more against Terran, less against Protoss, but even against Protoss, is some link getting caught out here, but not a big deal. Suppy's just going to replace that supply with Broodlord Infestor like he is right now. Is that I'd like to see second Spires go up more often for Broodlords. I mean, especially against Terran, because Marines are the major factor against Broodlords if they do get under you, if you run out of Infestor energy or what have you. But, I mean, it's really, really, really important to get those Broodlord upgrades out. If you can keep your Broodlords alive even without Infestors there, then you are in such a phenomenal position. It's almost impossible to lose, but against Protoss, not quite as important because everything does more spike damage. And, yeah, but at this point, I think it would be worthwhile for Suppy to have started, you know, a second Spire when +1 finished or something, maybe.
I want to point out in the main, we actually see 3 Stargates right now and 2 additional ones in there. And we see Void Rays coming out. And it's kind of unique because in the metagame of kind of your you know, Diamond and below, you're not seeing this, like, Void Race, you know, Carrier and Mothership type of play for endgame for Protoss, and this is really, you know, impressive. I mean, how many Void Rays is he going to get? Because he's just chronoing the hell out of them right now.
Yeah, all we see in production right now are High Templars and Void Rays, air weapons, air armor, observer speed, shield upgrades. Absolutely crazy game, and he's banking them all at the back of his base, right? He's completely maxed, so slowly but surely he's trying to throw some of his army away a little bit at a time while using these warp prisms to harass with drops. He's going to go throw away some Immortals and Stalkers on the right side of the map, maybe not. I don't really know.
This is a this is a scary Zerg army. I mean,
yeah, man.
Wow.
This is terrifying. 18 Broodlords and 10 Infestors. Oh.
Yeah, it's just, I'm just looking at it now, and I'm like, these players are neck and neck with their supply. They've gone ahead and thrown away their early gateway units. They've thrown away the early lings. There's no roaches, so it's like, so we're pretty much just waiting for this mass ball attack with your giant Protoss army and Zerg army, and yeah, I mean, look at EGSuppy. He's just taking more bases right now because nothing too significant's going on.
And this is something that some people really like about this map, and some things that some people really hate about this map is it's so hard to win, but it's so hard to lose. Right? You don't want to give your opponent a win, but you don't want to lose either. So both sides of this are going to be playing it, you know, kind of like this. And Suppy trying to take the inside bases here, not working. Hero even clearing out the top left-hand location.
Yeah.
And adding Cannon. Oh.
Yeah, this is crazy. I feel like I'm playing like StarCraft 1 right now with like the island maps. It's like no attacking for 15 minutes. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, how often do you actually see these little island maps getting taken, especially with the GSL and MLG maps with the creep tumors on them as well?
And yeah, these armies are just going to maneuver back and forth. I mean, the hero's just trying to pick up. He gets 2 spine crawlers and then has to run away. 2 spine crawlers is not. I mean, this is the Berlin Wall over here. It's not going to get torn down until Mr. Oh God, why did I put myself on the spot? It's not Grigorovich or anything, is it?
Yeah. But regardless, right now, you know, we do have. It's pretty much. I mean, both armies are just about maxed out right now. But a few little things to keep note of. Lots of Void Rays in the upper left-hand corner. We do go ahead and have 7 Stargates right now. On top of that, we see a Dark Shrine coming out and a ton of upgrades for both people.
Okay, wait. I did not notice this before.
Okay.
Suppy is at 32 Harvesters. 30. So
wow.
When it says they're even on supply, they are not even on supply.
No, not at all. Like, Suppy's been not reproducing any drones, using up all the drones to the point where, like, this is insane. Like, if one base gets hit where these drones are, his economy is gone. Versus 73, like, that's a huge significant difference.
Yeah, so I think Suppy just wants to create the biggest death ball possible, and then attack with it, and hope he wins the game with just that specifically. Like, he's not going to have very many reinforcements at all. He's only got 1,000, 2,000. That's not enough. That's enough for, like, you know, 10 Infestors, maybe 11.
Oh, my gosh. I just can't believe it. Like, if your army fails, you have no way to even reinforce that army, let alone rebuild an army as a Zerg player. I mean,
he also has almost double the supply of his opponent.
Now, take a look at the income counts, though. LiquidHero is sitting on 5,700 minerals versus 3,300. I mean, he's got quite the nice little rainy day fund right there.
Well, he's also got Void Race and Carrier started now. So
yeah, that is ridiculously actually impressive.
Is this series? This is not going to end like. I feel like this is going to steamroll out of proportion. I don't know. Somebody's just going to win a battle, and it's going to turn into League of Legends up in here.
Now, something to keep track of, though. We now have 7 carriers out. So everything's getting chrono boosted. We have carriers popping out. We have Void Rays popping out. You know, we just saw the last of LiquidHero's Gateway Army get picked up. But a lot of action going on now at the top portion of the map, and where EGSuppy seems to be occupying it and picking away at the 4th and 5th of LiquidHero.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, it's like, it really is, if one person wins a decisive battle, the game ends. But I don't know how Carrier, Corruptor, Infestor battles work.
It just doesn't happen often enough to say how the outcome's going to work out.
I actually didn't write down how this particular game ends, so
Good.
I don't remember.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, so right now we do have, oh my gosh, just more units getting chronoed out. But the thing is, like, LiquidHero has so much money right now. He's like, all right, I'm going to sacrifice my 4th. I'm going to sacrifice my 5th just to get together this Protoss Death Ball. And then look at now. We're now seeing the mothership kind of join up with this insanely nice air army. It's at 2-3.
But at the same time, think, Suppy's in Hero's base. If Hero cannot reinforce this, right? Because he's got to make units out of Stargates.
Yeah.
Whereas Suppy can wait for his opponent to walk all the way across the map if he loses his army. So Hero really has to come out kind of on top or close here. He's making 5 more Void Rays.
It's nuts.
It looks like a bronze level game right now, you guys.
You got to think of it though. He's losing supply, losing all his probes, and it looks like now LiquidHero's had enough. He's pressing forward right now. We see these Void Rays going to town. The mothership doing a very nice job, and we see the air army, you know, defending against those corruptors. We see a vortex going down. Wow, this is there's so much to cast right now.
Yeah, a huge Void Ray versus Corruptor battle on the left-hand side of the field. On the right side, Suppy losing all of his supply down to 120 to the 190 of Hero. Hero not even finished.
Gosh. And that entire army, the split of the army, the Void Rays to the left, the carrier Void Ray mothership to the right. I mean, look what's left. 191 to 58 supply. And look how much money's left. Our Zerg player has 299 minerals versus 1,600 to almost a maxed out Protoss army. I mean, I don't think there's any way possible that EGSuppy can come back from this.
So imagine if Suppy's Broodlords and Corruptors had 4 armor instead of 2 against the 12 damage Void Rays.
Oh my gosh.
Or 7 damage Interceptors.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, but this is just, that is quite the death ball, and that will go ahead and end that game. And all said and done, it looks like LiquidHero does actually end up winning that series from ASUS ROG Summer 2012, which just finished up like 3 weeks ago.
How frustrating does that have to be? To sit through 5 games that are like a half-hour long each, and then lose in Game 5? Oh.
Yeah, that was... So overall, all the series from this week, or all the games from this week, all the games from last week, what are your thoughts about each of these 2 players?
They're both really good.
Well, come on now. They're an ASUS ROG. I mean, okay, my thoughts are right away. I feel like we're seeing LiquidHero start to move in this very unique type of playstyle with this like whole idea of the warp prisms almost acting like kind of like a Terran with the medevacs. And I mean, it's just the way he plays is a very unique playstyle. Versus EGSuppy, I don't feel like I saw a unique playstyle. Do you? Did you see it can you you could say to someone,
well, he didn't go Mass Roach, which is a unique playstyle, sadly, right now in PvZ. So I will give him that. He managed to work with Ling Infestor every game into Broodlords and stuff. So yeah, I mean, in a sense, he kind of does. But that's kind of how Zerg is. Your style is very, very similar to everyone else, even with all the other races too, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Well, excellent. Well, thank you everyone for checking us out this week. I
have homework for everyone.
Oh, we have homework. Time out. Time out on the field. What do you got? What's our homework?
All right, so I'm kind of wondering because I'm not sure what people like. So do people want to see more of us picking a series of high-level players and deciding or going over them and analyzing every game individually, or do people want to see us pick a build and then find games of that build and kind of describe how that is and repeat ourselves a couple of times? Like, what's more entertaining? What's more useful? So if you guys enjoyed today's series, thank you. We appreciate it. Please come back next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m.
Now I got to call an audible.
10 p.m. Eastern.
I got to call an audible. Next week, we will not have a show because we're going to be at MLG. Come on now.
I might do a show. All right.
All right, well this guy right here, I'll be at MLG.
We'll figure it out. But if you guys could please email us and
definitely.
let us know which one you like more. Please go back and just watch, one of the previous episodes. Not episode 1. That one was apparently terrible or something. But if you watch another one of the episodes at youtube.com/thestrategist.tv and email us or leave a comment on there of which style you like better, it'll greatly, vastly improve the show because we're getting to know what you want to watch and then you get what you want.
Yeah, I
makes
mean, this show is for you guys. It's completely based for you guys. I mean, we love the analytical side. We don't mind casting some of these major series. I mean, this was a ton of fun for us. We had a lot of fun with it and got to see some amazing high-level stuff. So let us know, you know, this type of style show from part 1 and part 2 that we just did there, or what we did previously. We really would appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'm really tired. It's really, really hot in this blazer.
Well,
are we done? Okay.
Before we go, guys, we want to let you guys know just the last ways to contact us. If you're watching us on YouTube, check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/amovetv. If you're checking us out on Twitch, go support us on YouTube. Go check us out there. Go follow us, you know, or I think it's called subscribing to us. YouTube.com/TheStrategistTV. We're on Twitter all the time. We post all the time when the replays are up, you know, when the VOD is up. Check that out on Twitter, twitter.com/TheStrategistTV. And something that I actually have someone working on right now is we're going to be taking this to iTunes. We have someone working on handling all the video stuff for us. So this will be an option on iTunes. So if you're at work and you want to listen to us, you know, you don't have a chance to catch us live, you can't pop up YouTube at work because your boss will fire you because they think you're watching porn. You know, sexy ladies right here. But anyways, we are moving in the iTunes direction. That doesn't mean we're going to get away from Twitch or YouTube, but iTunes is an option because we had a very strong demand for it. So we are going to kind of move in that direction. But anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching us, and we'll definitely see you guys next week.
All right, guys. Remember, practice hard, win easy.